Hi. Wait, can you talk for a sec? Last night I got literally heinous. Literally heinous with Lily Maslia.
Hi.
Hello and welcome back to Literally Heinous. We have a very special guest on, Hope Woodard.
Hi.
Just hoping along.
So true. Yeah.
And I have to tell you that I have been following you for a really long time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What brought me to you? What was your For You page saying?
I remember post Pandy.
Yeah.
No, peak Pandy.
Yeah.
2020 following you. I think it was just a beautiful woman saying funny things in her apartment.
You want to know what really took me off during the pandemic was my haircut.
Yeah.
I attribute probably, I think it's fair to say 60% of my success to my haircuts.
Yeah.
Because most of my DMs are just the girlies being like, what were your inspo photos for the bob?
Well, you revolutionized the bob.
So I've always sort of emotionally taken things out on my hair. Yeah.
Well, your face card doesn't decline.
Hey, thank you. And yours either.
Thank
Gorgeous.
you.
I have this blonde in my hair now.
So
And I was wondering if we were going to talk about it because I got the Alyssa Lou stripe.
Okay.
When I was going through a bit of not even a breakup, a boy who wasn't even my boyfriend, but
Those hit
we were
harder.
breaking up. Yeah.
It's arguably
Yeah,
worse.
I'm whatever that means.
Yeah.
And I got the Alyssa Lou stripe and it started up here and now it's at the bottom. And I'm when I cut out the rest of the blonde, which will probably happen in the next couple of months, he will officially sort of be out of my system, which I'm really excited
You're
about.
cleansing.
She gets a new stripe every year.
Oh,
and so her
interesting.
stripes are markers of time.
Wow.
Which I think is so cool and interesting.
Yeah.
And that has been a fun thing for me. And this blonde is as it's been growing out, I'm oh my gosh, so much time has passed.
Yeah.
And I'm still I'm literally counting my days for not talking to this guy.
Okay.
In my notes app, I have a day tracker and it's I think I'm on 115 days right now.
I'm proud of you. Okay, so you're also a Southern girl.
It's true.
Where in Tennessee are you from?
I'm from about an hour and a half southeast of Nashville.
Okay.
It's a place called Tullahoma, Tennessee, which is
Okay.
kind of a crazy. I
Yeah.
think we're the only Tullahoma in the world.
Wow.
But I also kind of grew up between there and a place called Manchester.
Yeah.
And Manchester has the music festival Bonnaroo, which I grew up going to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And you went to UT?
I did. Yes.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Go
It's
Vols.
very true. Very true.
Okay.
The first time I was in Athens, I was with some girlfriends and we had gone down for the UT Georgia game. And Georgia fans are psychotic.
UGA, Athens in particular, is lawless.
Yeah,
The bars per capita,
Yeah.
per square mile, it is nuts.
I believe it.
We used to go, so I worked at a summer camp. I was a summer camp girl forever and
Cute.
then worked there. And then we would all
Cute.
go to Athens during intersession. So between first and second session. And we were 17, 18, 19, 20, all getting into these bars.
Were you a camp counselor?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Did you ever do that?
I went to summer camp one time, but when I went to college, I became friends with a bunch of girls who were summer camp girls. And I was so jealous.
Yeah.
Because I was that sounds amazing.
As a camper, it was 10 out of 10.
Okay.
And the whole experience was fine. It was good overall. It just kind of I look back and I'm still kind of parsing through it. It was really so sexually charged.
Okay, well, sure. Wet Hot American Summer.
It literally went
Yeah,
Hot American
of
Summer.
course.
And so my friend group at camp, there was 4 of us and they were my best friends in the world. And then we kind of just fell off when we became staff. And now I'm looking, I'm oh, I don't have any camp friends left.
If I'm being honest, and this is something that I admit with a little bit of insecurity, but I'm really not a friend group girl. I've been saying recently, I have one friend at a time, and that friend is my wife.
Yeah.
So I sort of look at big friend groups, and I have a little bit of jealousy,
Yeah.
and I just don't totally relate to it. And I was talking to another girlfriend of mine, who we grew up together. Her dad was my preacher, and we went to church camp together for one summer.
Yeah.
And she has been my wife before.
Good.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And she's not a friend group girl either. So I don't know. Do you think you're kind of built for friend groups or in general?
I'm like you. I have
Yeah.
a wife.
Yeah, you have a wife. Oh, congratulations.
Her name is Zoe. We've been best friends since 6th grade. She lives in the city. Like,
totally.
It's like my friends do be fluctuating.
Okay, say more. What do you mean about that?
I don't know. I mean, I think I had, you think that people are in your lives forever, and then you're kind of realizing either through like a dramatic friend breakup.
Oh my God.
Or a slow over time.
Oh my God. I'm like, shit. I'm like such a friend breakup expert. It's like so devastating. Cause I'm like, yeah, I've got wives and I've got ex-wives, girl. Like, I'm like, I saw one of my ex-wives at a party the other day and I was like, shit, she looks beautiful. Like, I'm like, I love her.
It's worse than running into an ex.
Oh my God. I had on a birthday party partiful RSVP list the other day an ex and an ex-wife. And I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. And I still pulled up. I was so proud of myself. I grabbed a great friend of mine. His name is Jared. He's just moved to Thailand because he fell in love with a girl. So wow. I miss him. But I texted him and I was like, I really need a strong +1 tonight. Okay. I've got 2 ops on the RSVP list. And they're not my ops. It's like I love them. Yeah. But it's like when you are someone who has intense relationships, like I become a wife, you know? And then you're no longer in each other's lives. Like it's just an intense feeling. And it's like I want the best for everyone that I'm not as close with anymore. Yeah. I had a hard time. I stayed at that party for 30 minutes. Wow. I saw my ex-wife. I never saw my non-boyfriend, which thank God. Yeah. Would have been probably much worse.
I want to talk about Mimi.
Oh my God. Of course. My true love, my girl.
Grandmother Mimi. She reminded me so much of my grandma Sao.
Cute.
And in your like research and your sort of like self-discovery, I know you've done a lot of like inward looking on male-centeredness. Yeah. And you've attributed some of that to Mimi.
Oh, yes.
No shade to Mimi.
No. Well, something I like to say is that I'm like, a generational slut. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, she wants to get dicked down so bad. And she's like now in her late 80s and she can like not walk and she can like not remember anything and she can like literally not get up to use the damn bathroom. And she's like, okay, I have a stepdad. My mom takes care of her, my Mimi, the whole time. And still to this day, when my mom is not in the room, my grandmother is like trying to get my stepdad to like kiss her, flirt with her, talk to her. Like my mom will like turn around and my grandmother will start whispering to my stepdad. Like it is psychotic.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I sort of saw that a couple of years ago and was like, oh gosh, like I might need to change some generational patterns.
There was a story about Mimi sneaking out to go see a priest.
Oh my God, yeah. Very Fleabag of her. She's so ahead of her time. Yeah, like, okay, this is going to sound like elder abuse and it's not. Okay. But if you are someone who takes care of someone with dementia like full time, it is really like taking care of a full grown toddler that like has more sort of like resentment and like sexuality and like it's just like insane. And my mom was taking care of her full time and she's also like a full-time teacher and da. Anyways, essentially I'm making all these excuses because my mom had to lock her inside of a house basically.
I do not judge.
For a little while. Okay. She was like going out to the grocery store and she locked her from the outside in and she's like, she's going to be fine. But anyways, while she was home alone, she decided she wanted to go see her preacher. She like breaks out of this house. Yeah. She lives in front of an interstate. She walks across like a state highway, breaks into an office building and like asks the front desk worker if she can drive her to church. I think the front desk worker like thought she was fully unhoused or something. Yeah. She like lives across the street. Yeah. But she drives her over there and the preacher is like obviously at the church even though it's like a Tuesday. And she just like hung out with him for a while and then he brought her back home. And then my mom got home and he was like sitting in the house. And I think my mom was like really embarrassed because, it's like, it's such a vulnerable position to be in, like taking care. And I think you can feel judgment kind of easily, especially if you're like a woman who is sort of
doing her best.
So
her origin story of when Mimi got married and
oh my God, you really did your research. Oh my God, yeah. So she met my grandfather, who was like a complete working class man, like did not graduate from high school, was like a pipeline welder, was like a total fucking redneck from Texas. He was like in Tennessee on a whim. And when she was like 16 or something, they met and they got married like a couple of days. Like they got married and moved to Texas together immediately. I think he was like a loyal man, but he was like very mean. She got a job at a factory that was making like air conditioning units. She met my step grandfather, Leroy, and they like fell in love and like had a bit of an affair. And I don't know why. I know this is a bias for me, but I'm like, when a woman has an affair, I'm like, wait, that's awesome. Like, I don't know. I'm like, God, I love to imagine, because he was like the security guard at the factory and she was like the floor manager. And I like really love to imagine like what it was like kind of like flirting with him, and like he was really funny.
Will they, won't they?
You know what I mean? And he's probably the reason why I like love to date a comedian, because I'm like, I love when a man is funny. Nothing better. And they were in love forever and ever. He passed away like 15 years ago. And with her dementia, she either cannot remember that he is not around anymore. I don't know if you ever took care of anyone with dementia, but it's like jumping between reality. Since you're an improv girl, like I think you would be really good at me. No, is that like...
it's got to be a total mindfuck.
I love yes-anding her. Like, it's just my favorite thing. I'm like, she'll talk to me about my papa, like he's still around. And I just love to be like, absolutely. We'll go see him at work later. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like, we'll go out to lunch or dinner or something. And she'll be like, we need to get him a sandwich to bring home. And I'm like, totally. Being a granddaughter is amazing. Yeah. Because you can like love your grandmother, and it's so much less complicated.
I mean, that's the inverse
you
of
know
the
what
relationship
I mean?
when you were the grandbaby.
Completely. My mom like has a different level of like resentment towards her, and like I see my Mimi and Papa's affair as something sort of like hot and romantic. Like I'm like, yay, he made her laugh. And then my mom sees it as like the man that my grandmother chose over her. Which like makes me a little bit emotional, because I can understand that feeling. And like my grandmother brings this man into the house, and if we do not sort of separate ourselves from male validation, like I think we can really sort of exclude our daughters. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't have any kids either. Yeah. And I hope I'm making sense when I say this, but like that was one of the motivating factors behind the whole like Boysober concept and journey and idea and everything. Was I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to make sure that I don't sort of hand over these like negative coping mechanisms with like men and male attention to my daughter. I want to make sure that she feels like I would never put a man above her. And I don't think my mom ever felt that from my grandmother. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
1,000,000%. So I want to talk about Boysober. So this came about 2024.
2023, like late 2023.
So that was kind of like first big virality, I would say, with this term Boysober, which is something that you define. It's more than just celibacy, but it's removing the pedestalization of men and like making decisions for yourself and not thinking about male validation. And you did it as a response to breaking a generational pattern. Which I thought was so beautiful.
It was twofold. It was like, there was my grandmother, but before I went home to Tennessee, I had this ex-boyfriend who is like my most serious boyfriend ever. And we honestly were together for collective probably like 5 years or so. And he's an angel. And he's like a man I should have been in love with, but just wasn't. And I loved him, but I'm also like psychotic and like do not know how to be in a normal committed relationship. So like everything that went wrong with me and him, it's like I take all of the blame, and I'm like, I'm just wired a little bit fucked up. Like there's something going on. Anyways, we weren't technically together, and we had like sort of gone from being boyfriend girlfriend to being in like a situationship. And we were like off and on situationship, kind of back and forth. And I'd been like posting about another guy on TikTok in between, like in our off phase.
Yeah.
Like we were together, me and my ex, and then we split, and then I was with like this guy from Hinge, and then the guy from Hinge didn't work, and so I went back to my ex, and then he got on my TikTok and sort of went through all of my videos where I was like talking about this other situationship that I was obsessed with, and I'm like, oh my God, I felt so bad because I'm like, I never meant to hurt him. And even though technically I didn't break any rules, right? Because it's like we weren't technically together, but there's still this feeling of sort of like betrayal.
Yeah.
You know, because there's an emotional honesty to the relationship, regardless of the label. Yeah. And so he called me and he was like, I can't believe this. Like, I had taken this situationship like soup when he was sick one day. And my ex was like, why don't you bring me soup? And I was like, I don't know, because I'm kind of fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And he still wanted to be together, which was like a crazy thing to me, because I don't know if you relate to this, but sometimes I think everyone can do it, just putting someone on a pedestal.
Of course.
And when someone is put on a pedestal, because I have been the one on a pedestal and I have put men on the pedestal. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're up there, you really want to be seen clearly.
Yeah.
And you look at this person who's idealizing you and you're like, how can you not sort of stand up for yourself right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have been someone who needs to get up. And then that was a situation where I was like, you got to get up.
Yeah.
Like, you got to see me for what I am.
So, like, you were pedestalizing the situationship. You brought soup.
Yes.
And then your 5-year ex
had me on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally am always like, God, I hope I can like somebody who likes me back one day. I'm like, I have not been able to get into like a reciprocal liking just yet. It's always like chase or be chased. So I was like, gosh, I think I have to like give up dating because I would love to figure out how to be with someone in like a normal way. And the conversation was sort of about like decentering men and devaluing like male attention. But I think as the project has gone on, I feel like it's more about just like validation kind of in general and like codependency. Like I definitely am a bit of a codependent fucking freak.
So where are you now with the journey?
You know, I'm like me, like at a loss for words.
Yeah. I mean, healing is, my mom and I always say that like healed is a bad word.
Yeah.
The past tense.
I agree.
Because no one is healed.
No.
We're all healing.
Totally.
And some are further along on their journey than others. And it's a spiral up and it's a spiral down.
Yeah.
But every time you spiral down, you can spiral up a little bit more.
I think that like the interesting thing about the Boysober project for me is that number one, like it was such a public thing. And so a lot of girls will come up to me and like talk to me about being boy sober, or I would like get a lot of DMs about girls like giving up sex and giving up men and giving up dating and it like being really amazing for them.
Yeah.
I think this sort of like catch-22 thing happened to me where I was like giving up male validation, but then I got like a lot of internet validation.
Wow.
And so I like sort of replaced one thing with another. I was in like some hot water on the internet for a little while. Like I had two big sort of like cancel moments, and those were like big learning curves for me. And in the thick of them, I was like really depressed and just felt like I like left a lot of people down, and I felt a lot of like shame and embarrassment and da. Being removed from those moments, like I feel thankful for them. I feel like it was just a bit of it like shook up the snow globe that is my life, to be like, oh, okay, like I don't need to be reliant on like validation from people in comments and strangers, and I don't need to be reliant on men. Yeah. But it was like the Boysober project for me personally was like so fucking psychotic and insane because it was like so public and so emotional. And then I was like sort of a billboard for celibacy, and like the recovering Christian in me was like so annoyed by that.
Yeah, that's
because I was getting all of this validation for being like a woman who doesn't have sex, and like I have a lot of sex. I love having sex. Like I'm a slut. I love a man in my bed. I find them I love them.
The Haniacs are a very
like, and so for me, I was like this thing that because I was like a evangelical Christian Tennessean Southern girl who was like with men from like too early of an age. Like I felt a lot of shame for being a woman who kind of has sex for a long time. And as an adult, I became like more okay with it, whatever. And then I was getting all this validation for being like pure. And I was so annoyed by that.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit like, even though I sort of said like, I'm going to give up sex, as soon as the first kind of headline came out about me being celibate, I was like, fuck you. I was like,
yeah.
And so it was very complicated emotionally and internally. I am working on a book project now. So I'm like writing a book about it.
So fabulous.
Yeah, it's a personal project, but it's also kind of my life's work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you were right to say like Boysober was sort of my first viral moment. It's like I quit my 9-to-5 that same year, and I got into like being on the internet and being like a public person and being like an entertainment person, like a little bit on accident. The Boysober thing, it was something I needed to do for myself, but I also turned it into a live show.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a monthly show, and so I was like performing it. And I think that's a tricky thing when you're like performing your healing process.
Yeah.
And I think that there were a lot of girls who were inspired by it that got to sort of do this healing project like a bit in private. And mine was like very public, which I am thankful for because it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know if I would recommend it. And sort of having this persona or this public image of like being Boysober, being celibate, being a woman who isn't with men or whatever, but like in my heart of hearts, like loving a man in my bed, that became a little bit of a contradiction that I felt like I had to hide.
So you started Boysober, and then were you celibate for a year?
I was not celibate for a year. No, I fell in love with a man that I saw on stage. I made it about 6 months or so. And then there was this guy who I saw on stage, and I went through 2 friend breakups, and I was just so mentally and spiritually down bad. And he was very cute and charming and made me laugh.
Stage for singing or comedy?
Comedy. Oh. I know. I was like a big musician girl when I was in high school because I was like grew up close to Nashville and everything. Yeah. So I loved a musician for a long time. I am no longer allowed to date comedians.
Good.
When someone cannot make me laugh, or when a man that I'm with does not get my jokes, I'm like, you're an idiot and I'm sick and disgusted with you. Like, and I'm also like depressed. Like, people don't really believe I'm depressed because I have a beautiful smile. I need to be with someone who can snap me out of that.
Yeah.
You know, the truth is about dating a comedian is they are usually just as depressed, and so many of them are not funny off stage.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this whole thing is so interesting to me because you started this journey as an exploration of like generational trauma and a generational negative pattern. And you're trying to break it. And you got a New York Times profile.
Yeah.
And the profile didn't really focus on the generational pattern.
No, right.
It focused on this is what Gen Z is doing, and Gen Z is celibate, and it feeds into this whole like narrative that people want to see. How did that feel? People not getting the message right.
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you for bringing that up, because like with the New York Times article, like, you know, like I said, my grandmother did not graduate from high school. Like, I am a small town girl. Like, never did I ever sort of think I would be in a New York Times article, or that I would get to talk about my grandmother in the article. You know what I mean? And then the article came out, and it was like so centered around celibacy. And, you know, I take issue with the New York Times for a few of their headlines. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to get into all that today. Yeah. When that headline came out, it's like, I understand it's a perfect headline. Celibacy rebranded, essentially, you know? And I got it, like, on an intellectual level, because celibacy is so popular, or was so popular, especially sort of in 2024. And really all that I did, and this is what going viral really is. It is just like naming something that the collective is feeling. Like, it's so interesting, our For You pages and our algorithms and like going viral, because it's like really a collective consciousness thing, you know? And so it's like, okay, by a little bit of luck and a little bit of smarts and a little bit of something else, like, I came up with this thing that named a feeling culturally. You know, a lot of women wanting to give up men and wanting to give up sex and wanting to give up dating. Like, I didn't really come up with anything new. I just came up with a name for it. And I didn't even come up with it. My older sister did. You know what I mean? But I actually have to attribute like all of my success to my oldest sister, Anna. So
that is
shout out to her.
Okay, shout out Anna.
Shout out Anna.
I would love to talk to her.
But she's brilliant. She's amazing. Yeah. When I started to get all of that attention, because I was getting negative attention online for like working with Starbucks while people were like boycotting Starbucks. And so I understood that, because I like, of course, Free Palestine, like, of course, like I am aligned. And I had like disappointed some people, and I had done something out of alignment with how people perceived me and what I need to do. And so I understood that, and I felt a lot of guilt for it. So I'm getting this negative attention that I feel guilt for and shame. And on top of that, I'm getting like all of this positive attention for like being celibate. And it was just like two really intense levels of feedback at the same time. And it kind of just like took the wind out of me. Just knocked me off my horse, so to speak.
So
you know what I mean?
That is all. It's so much to deal with.
Oh my God.
I mean, even the celibacy of it all, and just given your background of like Christian abstinence.
Well, I'll tell you, the night before that article came out, I was like in a man's bed. Oh my God. Like, I woke up in that man's bed that morning, and I turned to him and I said, hey, an article is going to come out about me today that says I'm giving up sex for a year. And I was like, I want you to know you can do whatever you need to do with that. Like, and we didn't have technically sex or whatever. But I was like rolling around with him in bed. You know what I mean? Anyways, T, okay.
Don't judge you. The Haniacs do not judge you. I think you shouldn't be made the face of celibacy because you're sharing something you might do online.
Well, it was just, the thing was, I really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it had been taken away from me in a way.
Because it wasn't yours anymore.
It wasn't mine anymore. And I sort of like have that feeling about the Boysober idea and project and sort of like cultural moment is like, yes, I played a big part in it. And yes, it is mine in some ways, but it's also not.
Yeah.
Because I think another thing about it was like, for me and my experience with Boysober is I was like, that's a crutch for me. Like male attention, flirting with a guy, getting lost in a guy. Mm-hmm. That is like having a drink for me, you know? But then there are like other girls who identify with Boysober, where like these girls would make videos and be like, I've been Boysober for the past 10 years because I've like never kissed a guy or something. Do you know what I mean? Like I sort of say there are 3 levels of Boysober girls. There's like me, which is like cockaholic girl who loves to like roll around with the man. Yes, been kissing for a long time, and I know how to get it, you know? And I need to maybe let that go. And then there is another type of Boysober, which is like they want to be kissed desperately, but they maybe don't know how, and I think they underestimate themselves. And I like to sort of call them like the Drew Barrymores of like never been kissed, where it's like they feel like outsiders. So there's this group of girls who identified with the word and I think felt a lot of like comfort with it. And then there was another third like version of Boysober, which is just a full-blown lesbian.
Okay, obsessed.
All the groundwork was there for it, and there was like different iterations of it that I don't really that are not really my road. Yeah. Does that make sense?
You put a name on a feeling that was already existing.
Totally.
And people have taken it and ran with it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the manic pixie dream girl.
Oh my God.
Not that
me.
No, I mean, I'm not calling anyone. It is like the actual name Manic Pixie Dream Girl. And it comes from a film student who first coined the term back in like the late 90s. And he made up this term Manic Pixie Dream Girl. And if you don't know, Manic Pixie Dream Girl is now like people use it all the time in the film world to describe like the Zoe Deschanel types,
right,
or like these archetypes of
Right.
women, usually written by men. Like, I'm quirky, I'm crazy, I'm not too hot, I'm just
I'm
sexy
quirky,
enough.
I'm quirky, I'm crazy, but I'm also mentally unwell.
Yes.
There's a level of mental unwellness to the manic pixie dream girl.
But the guy
Manic,
that
of course.
invented this term has like since regretted it.
Really?
Yes, because it has taken on like a whole new life of things that he didn't intend. He just said this thing one time, and now people are applying it to like all different types of female characters. Now it's
Right.
a way to be like reductive against female characters, or it's a way that people don't want to write a manic pixie dream girl, but like sometimes those characters are awesome, and like
Yeah.
now we're being deprived of them because it's not seen as cool. So
Right.
I'm saying that like you created kind of a monster essentially, and that it's not
That's so true.
your fault.
No, like
You're Dr. Frankenstein.
on it. No, literally. And I was like doing the shit to myself is the thing. And then so after that year, I signed with iHeartRadio and I did the podcast. But the thing about that was I was working for iHeartRadio and I was not getting, I was so broke. I was so broke in such a crazy way. I like was doing the podcast for this like corporation that is worth literally billions of dollars and the CEO is worth literally almost $1 billion, and then I was getting underpaid so much so that I couldn't make rent. Like I was doing the Boysober podcast and I was literally trying to go on dates for money with men, and yes, I tried being a prostitute once. Which is like was so crazy, and it was such a crazy feeling of like I'm hosting this podcast that's about giving up men and giving up sex, and I am so broke that I have to like go on these dates. I was out of alignment with sort of the reality of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to keep this project going but just couldn't buy into it because
It's a man's world.
it was a little bit like survival mode.
So
You know, I was like a
yeah.
front desk girl at SoulCycle, like folding towels. Like, what is that show? Oh my God.
City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Full blown episode 1 of Broad City. That was
Yeah.
me.
So I want to go back to iHeart.
Please.
So you had a
Let me not talk too much shit, but yeah, let's go.
Yes. So they weren't paying you much, paying you nearly
It
enough.
was like a really weird pay structure where I signed a contract and I got paid in 4 installments. And my first one was for like $2,000. My second one, which was like the next quarter, was like $5,000. I live in like it was just like
It's not that much.
it's not gonna make that doesn't make any sense, girl. Like
Yeah.
I can't get paid. And then when the project ended, they like gave me the rest of my money for the contract, and I'm like, why would you give someone a big chunk of money at the end of the project? So even though I was like working for iHeart and I had amazing producers, like I had an amazing team of girls that like made everything absolutely worth it. You need to like build it on your own.
Yeah.
You know, you need to like do the internet thing. You need to do the short form content thing. You need to do like events on your own. Like it's a lot of building on your own and you need money for that.
Yeah.
But I was so broke because really I say that I'm like retired from the internet. Like if I was still doing the influencer thing, I probably could have made more money, but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so I was making minimum wage.
Yeah.
For SoulCycle. So I was like working for these 2 like mega corporations.
Yeah.
They're all like the C-suite of all of them, like so wealthy. And I'm just sort of like a part of this system, like not making any money. Yeah, it definitely like radicalized me in a way.
Good. And then, so you went on some dates for money. What was that experience like? Did it work?
So I was like working at SoulCycle and I was talking with the girls and I was like, I need like $1,000 like immediately. Like I need $1,000 tomorrow. And I was talking to this one girl that I worked with and she was like, you can get on this app and you can just get paid to go on dates.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, like I literally every time I go on a date with a man, I'm like acting anyways. It's like
I should be paid for this.
No, literally. It's
Yeah.
like I'm looking at them like I'm in love with them. I'm making them laugh. I'm laughing at them. Like I'm charming. I'm beautiful. I hate to say it. You know what I mean? It's like
course.
I'm providing a service when I go on a date with a man. I might as well get paid for it. And I called my mom, and she'll be embarrassed that I admit this, but I called my mom and I was like, this girl told me about getting paid to go on dates with men. And she was like, do you have to do anything with them? And I was like, no, I would just be paid for going on the dates. And she was like, I think you should do it. And
Yeah.
so I get on this website, I make a profile. I had some like messaging moments with people. It was like 3 or 4 guys that I was like messaging with. Like one of them tried to get me to like send him nudes without paying me any money. And I was like, you're so fucking stupid. Like, why would I do that? And then some other ones, I was just like, this feels weird, whatever. And then there was one guy who I got on a phone call with. And he did not want to send, I did not know what he looked like. But I got on a phone call with him and he had a nice voice and he was smart. And I was like, okay, like, let me try to do this.
Yeah.
And he had told me that his overnight rate or whatever would be like $1,500 and that for the day it would be like $500. Okay. And so I thought we were just going to go on a date. I sort of thought overnight meant I would have to sleep with him. And if I met with him in the day, we would just like go on a date.
Yeah.
And that would make money for that. Because this is what people told me. Mm-hmm. But I got on the date. And so he asks me to go to like a hotel bar in Midtown. And it's like last July. It's like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I like go to this hotel bar in Midtown and I pull up and I see him and I was just like, what am I doing? If he had sent me a picture of himself, listen, the men I have slept with, you would be shocked. Like I really, really, you could look like anything. And if you're charming or funny enough, I will lay down with you. That's just my truth. Okay. And so much so where my friends are like, they get upset with me about it. Like I would show my ex to people and like girls would get upset because he was just not so conventionally good looking. So maybe if I had been prepared, but I also think I just showed up and he could have looked like anything.
Yeah.
He could have looked like anything and I would have been like, what the fuck am I doing? And I like sat down with him and I like started talking to him about politics, like which like you probably shouldn't talk about politics when you're like trying to be on like a date for money. And long story short, I ordered like a Diet Coke. He was drinking a Diet Coke. We talked for about an hour and then he was like, do you want to get out of here? And I was like, no, I really do not want to get out of here with you. And I said, I'm so sorry. I think there's been like a miscommunication. And I left. I like ran away.
Did you get paid?
No. And everybody, I'm like, that's the thing too. It's like, I was a little bit like beating myself up about it. Cause I was like, first of all, I needed money. Second of all, I was like, I'm not cut out for it. I was like, what do you mean you didn't get any money from him? Like, this is psychotic. Like, I talked to him for an hour and a half. And a bunch of my girlfriends were like, I can't believe you didn't get him to give you any money. And I was like, I'm just not cut out for it. Like, I felt bad for him. I can't believe this is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And so that was my one attempt at being a sex worker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean,
it's ridiculous. Have you ever?
No, I've been.
You ever considered?
No,
Yeah.
I've been locked up.
Right. You're right.
Not locked up.
A friend. Yeah. It's the thing is like I think that I'm like too, maybe, I don't know what it is.
I'm a very like,
what it is.
I'm very cautious. Like I'm a very cautious person. I'm very risk averse.
Okay.
So I think even if I were considering the sex work thing, it would be my safety. That would kind of freak me out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I called my dad like a little bit after doing that and I was like on mushrooms at the beach and my dad and I talked on the phone for like an hour and I never thought that I would tell him about that moment, but I told him about doing that and he like started crying on the phone.
Of course. My dad
oh my God
would come.
I scared the shit out of him. Like I didn't realize because I feel like sex work is like, especially if you're like in New York and you're like a progressive person and I'm like, I know so, and like the girls I was working with at Soul Cycle, it's like there were so many people who knew somebody who was like getting their rent paid for. And I was like, oh my God, like I have so many friends who just get their rent paid for by men.
Yeah.
Who like want to sleep with them. But I'm not built that way. I'm like too nice.
Yeah.
And I want to therapize them. And I'm like, don't give me your money. This feels really.
Yeah. That's the Mimi in you.
It totally. Yeah.
Like Julia Fox's book that I have
Totally,
right here above me.
of course.
I would also be like that too, because I would also feel bad and like guilty or whatever.
Yeah.
And like in Julia Fox's book, she has millions of stories about like the scamming that she's done, like men picks up. I'm like, my brain doesn't work like that.
No, totally.
I would feel
and
guilty.
I don't know what it is. And a little bit, I was like, I wish I could scam men out of more of their money, but I cannot.
You need to start with just like hooking up with hot people first.
Oh my God. I know.
And
I'm
then
trying to
you
think.
can work your way up to.
Okay, I'll say this. I really do not date men with money. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is a personal choice. It just happens to be that way. Very rarely am I dating a guy with money.
You need to be using your powers for good.
I know.
You're this
I need to get my family generational wealth.
Use your powers for good. You're very beautiful. You're very charming. You should be using that power.
Oh my God. I like do love a man who looks a little hopeless. Like, I love a man who's like down on his luck. I love an underdog. I am obsessed with an underdog in such a way that's like, my friends often talk about my dating habits like I'm sort of like a Make-A-Wish foundation of my own.
You are.
Just making wishes happen for so many sad men.
You
yeah,
need to stop being
I know. That's my next book.
That is, yeah, I am like eternally grateful I like found Jack so young, because a life of boy craziness was ahead of me.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
And I'm not so boy. I mean, like, listen, I get a look in my eye every now and again if I've had enough to drink and I need to like go home with somebody, but I don't really find myself being too boy crazy.
Yeah.
But I think writing this book, it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'm like going through like these old stories of like getting in trouble online, going through like 2 friend breakups, like sleeping with this guy who I like met at his show, and I was sort of publicly a celibate girl, and then I was like with him. So like writing all of these stories has been like really helpful.
Yeah.
And that is what's taking up like most of my time and energy right now. Good. Whereas like before the whole like Boysober project, like even though it's been like kind of a disaster, it's been like a beautiful disaster. It's been like, it has taken me to the depths of my like soul and psyche in a way that I didn't really think was possible. I've released the idea that I'm ever going to be celibate for a year. I don't think that will ever happen for me. Yeah. And I also don't think I'm really an advocate for that.
And you
like,
don't have to do anything
and
because the internet tells you to.
You don't have to do anything because the internet tells you to, and you also don't have to do everything you said you were going to do.
Literally.
And I also think that like the sort of cultural obsession that Gen Z has with celibacy, I am not really into it. Are you healing or are you being avoidant? I think that is a question that people need to ask themselves. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
One other thing that I wanted to ask you about, so you've aligned yourself politically a lot online. You're a big advocate for Democratic Socialists.
Yes, I'm a DSA head.
Shout out, Mom Donnie Stan.
Yes.
Thank you for all your work.
Oh my God.
And you mentioned your cancellations.
Yes.
So you did an ad with Starbucks and you got canceled for it.
I know, my heart rate's going up.
No.
My body's going numb. No.
I'm on your side.
Of course.
The right does not hold themselves to that same accountability.
The right will protect each other.
Yes.
Like, there will be right-wing politicians who campaign on being pro-life, and then they will get caught paying for their mistresses' abortions. Exactly. You talk about Lindsey Graham. I mean, Lindsey Graham, who is a closeted but open secret gay man, like who was like a Republican who held a lot of power and authority. The right protects its own, and that's just true. Now the left does not have the same capacity. We just don't do that. Like when you're doing the work of a good person, it is much more disappointing when you are a bad person. Does that make sense?
All they do is just push people farther and farther away.
Know.
Whereas with the right, I mean, they welcome anyone with open arms.
I know. Something I love to kind of like think about is like, what if after I got canceled for the first time, I just like fully became a right-wing influencer? Like that would
And then it's like, and teach people a fucking
Like-
lesson. Like the grasp that people had on Starbucks specifically.
Yeah.
And just annihilating anyone who got Starbucks.
Starbucks as an organization, I think, is an easy target.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to give up. And I think that's why I got canceled, because it's like canceling someone, you get to feel productive. You get to feel productive.
Yeah.
You get to feel like you have a voice. The feeling of hate gives us immediate like superiority.
Yeah.
We feel better than someone else. And hate is a feeling that makes you feel involved in a group more than anything else. Of course, in that moment, I took it very personally. And it was really hard for me. Everything felt so out of my control.
Yeah.
And I felt misunderstood. But I also think just ultimately, like, I disappointed people,
Yeah.
which I felt sad about. I think people really, really needed to feel productive about what was happening in Palestine. Like, electing Zoran, I think, has given us all so much relief.
It was a really heated time.
Oh my gosh.
End of 2023, like 2024. And it's just like a shame that like people who have good politics like spend so much energy on this and on like someone like you for something relatively small, when it's not left versus right. It's not left versus left. It's up versus down.
Is tricky waters to
Yeah.
be a woman on the left who is trying to do the right thing politically all the time. That is honestly like why I'm not really like an influencer anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got canceled twice, and then I don't really do, there's definitely like a before and after for me, you know? I don't really blame people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't blame people for being frustrated or disappointed or sort of like using me as this thing to feel productive through.
Yeah.
It definitely like hurt. But the second one was like even a little bit worse because that was so crazy. It's like, first of all, I tried being a full-time influencer for like less than a year, and I got canceled twice, which is like so fucking funny. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
like you're really
like,
bad at it.
what are the, yeah, like you're really bad. Like, what is going on?
I think that means you're good at it.
Like, that's so funny. It's like, okay. So I got canceled the first time, and then I sort of just tried to like push through it. Cause like the Boysober stuff was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, my public life was doing okay after it, but my personal life, like I just blew up my own personal life. Another element to like me getting canceled the first time was I made an apology video before anyone ever called me out on working with Starbucks.
Yeah.
And I was talking with a friend about this the other day, and he was like, do you think you would have gotten canceled if you hadn't made the original apology video? And I was like, I don't think so. Like, because
Yeah.
the video that was stitched that made it all happen was my apology video. That was like
that nobody asked
that
for.
nobody asked for. Okay. And then I got canceled the second time, and it was because I made a joke that just got taken out of context. And it's like, I totally understand why it got taken out of context.
Yeah.
I totally understand why people were so hurt by it.
And this was the pizza.
This was my Pizzagate moment.
Damn.
I know.
And so the joke was just you were mad about some guy not texting you.
No, right. Okay, thank you for giving me the platform to explain myself. I'm like a big storyteller, whatever. And I was telling a story about how me and a friend had gone to get pizza at Lindustry in the West Village.
Yeah.
And she had asked me, teach me how to flirt.
Okay.
And I said, oh my God, just give the guy your number. And there was a really good looking guy working at Lindustry. And I gave him my number, and then I went back to her, and she said, what if he has a girlfriend? What if he this? What if he that? And I said, I don't care about that guy. And I meant to be like, we should care about guys less always. Like, I give him my number. I don't care about him. In the video, I say, like, I don't care about him. He works at a pizza shop, which I did not mean to make I did not mean to start like, a
classist
a
war.
class war. I fully started a class war Because then what happened is this. So 2 people started texting me and messaging me and shit after that whole thing happened. And here's what happens. Things get taken out of context because people will stitch things. And this is what happened the first time too. So some guy somewhere stitches a video of mine and goes, this dumb, beautiful girl has said something really offensive and you should all hate her for it. And then like millions of people are like, yeah, we believe that guy. So that's what happened. And I had 2 big responses where people were messaging me being like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, you shouldn't be so classist, da 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 da. And like, the crazy thing is, I think what made me so mad about it is I was like, I don't date men with money. Like,
literally.
Y'all have got me misunderstood. Like, and I was like, oh my God.
I'm Make-A-Wish.
No, literally. So, but you can't, so anyway, so there was that. But then I had another response, which was like women texting me being like, of course you don't want to date a man who has a job like that. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying either. So ultimately it was just like one big misunderstanding. But I think it's like both times this happened, like people kind of started doxing my family in a really crazy way. And so like that really scared me when it sort of goes outside of me and into my family life. Everything just felt out of my control and I felt completely misunderstood and powerless. I will have the random off day where I'm like, thank God I'm not getting canceled right now. I'm like,
it could be worse.
I literally had that thought the other day. I was like laying down like in my bed, like waking up in the morning and I was like, oh, it's such an awesome day because I'm not like on everyone's For You page right now getting absolutely obliterated. Like
that has to be the worst feeling in the world.
It definitely like got into my nervous system in a way. It is a bigger deal to me than it has ever been to anyone else. Yeah. And like that was a moment in time that has passed and like it definitely lives with me more than it lives with anybody else and I'm not like confused about that. It's like in a lot of ways like I'm like I gotta kind of get over myself and like understand the fact that it's not that big of a deal. My nervous system doesn't really understand that quite yet. I think it's also really taught me something about saying sorry and apologizing. Like, I think some of us, and this is something I have a habit of, is like, you kind of say sorry and you think that that is like enough. That is like penance. Yeah. Where it's like, maybe you don't need to be saying sorry. Maybe you need to just do differently. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not so much like grovel for forgiveness, but sort of just go like, I acknowledge this was kind of fucked up. And I did what I had to do, and I'm going to be different and better now. My mom is always begging me to stop talking about politics. Yeah. But I can't help it. And I had this girlfriend during all of this, and like, we didn't totally see Israel-Palestine in the same way for a little while. Yeah. And it was an earlier time. So it was like 2024 and now that it's 2026 and like we've seen so many things happen, everyone's sort of on the same page at this point. Yeah. Long story short though, we were having a fight and she was kind of like, why do you even have to talk about this? Like, why do you even have to care so much about this? I was just like, I don't know, I have to. And I've just always been political and I've always been like a girl on the left in the South. Like,
I feel you.
I
do. I'm like that too.
I don't know. It's like, I'm just built that way. I don't know.
I've always, ever since I became like politically conscious, I've always been a leftist.
Yeah.
Ever since, it was never even like a thought to me that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you off the hot seat now.
Please.
Okay, we're going to transition into a literally heinous original game.
Good.
I'm going to give you a few things. You're going to tell me if they're chic or freak. Northern elitism.
Oh my God. Freak. Yeah.
So freak.
Big freak. Yeah.
Yes. It's.
No.
I do get it. Like comments about. I get it all the time.
I have experienced Northeastern elitism, and that is one of the reasons why I hate Democrats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, chic or freak, demoting your friends.
Ooh, I'm gonna say kind of chic.
I'm in the demoting game now.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to have this like crazy friend breakup. Sometimes you just demote people and you don't need to make it a thing.
Yeah. And you just go, you know what? Like, oh, I thought you were my friend like this. Now I see you're my friend like this. And that's okay. And I love you.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
SEC schools.
Oh, love. I mean, chic, whatever. Yeah, chic,
sorry.
chic.
If you
Yeah.
hate on the SEC, get over it.
I mean, whatever. It's like,
open mics.
oh my God. I'm so scared of open mics at this point in my life. Chic or freak open mic. I'm going to have to say both.
Yeah.
Very chic and very freaky.
I hate them.
I know.
Chic or freak Zens.
Oh, freak. I just love to smoke. You know, I'm quitting cigarettes
Yeah.
and people always tell me to get on the Zins and I'm like, it's not the same.
Chic or freak Instagram Plus.
Ooh, what even is that?
Okay, Instagram Plus is a new paid feature on Instagram.
Oh.
Where you can see when people view your stories. You can search the views to see
No. Because I am locked out of Instagram intentionally because the Instagram story views they're ruining my life. No. Instagram knows how addictive it is to be able to see who views your story. And that no, you pay and you can see.
You can see what time they viewed it. And you can search the views so you don't have to scroll, and you can see how many times someone has gone back and viewed your
That
story.
is nasty. I was obsessed with a man who was like looking at my Instagram stories for like a full-blown year. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, and I think Instagram was like doing me so dirty because every time I would post a story, immediately his name would be at the top of my Instagram story views. And that made me obsessed with him. And I'm still recovering. Yeah.
I've never been like a story view searcher.
Okay. See, I wasn't really either. And then I was. And now I'm probably not going to be on my Instagram app for at least 90 days.
Are you going to get Instagram Plus for this feature?
No.
Good.
Because see, I don't need access to that information. Yeah. Like, you know what? We really don't need to know everything. We really don't need to know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chic or freak, a text confrontation.
Oh.
Rather than face-to-face or phone call.
I think it's okay. Chic.
Okay. I used to be like ride or die phone call face-to-face girl.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of respect for the text because you get to say everything you want to say exactly how you want to say it, and I got to like sit with that information.
Yeah.
Because I know if I like would have received a text or that over a phone call, I would have been like crying and saying maybe things that I didn't exactly mean. So now I'm pro texting.
I think that like with a text, it's like you can really like, it's like writing a letter, you know, and you can say everything you need to say and it's safe and it's intentional. And like, sure, maybe you should have the phone call at some point if you ever need it. But like, I think text is totally fine. Chic.
Nothing gets misconstrued. You get to say what you want to say, and it gives the person space to react and just, you know, have a thoughtful response. So I'm pro texting sometimes.
Me too.
Okay, last one. Hooking up with two guys in the same friend group.
Oh my God, I actually did that this year. It's freak. I mean, it's freak. You can do it, but you're being a freak.
I feel like it's chic.
It's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. I could go either way.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
You are a star.
Oh my God.
I'm addicted to you. You are so
We've had fun. We've had fun.
Can you tell the Haniacs when the book is coming out? What we can
I'm
look
writing
for?
it right now. Honestly, it takes a long time. I have to finish my first draft by the end of this year, and then it will go into sort of edits, and then it will be published. So, I mean, honest to God, not for like 2 years probably.
Well,
but
I will be here promoting it, and I'm going to have you back on the podcast once it's out.
that would be awesome.
And then obviously let's get dinner a million times in between.
Yeah.
Follow Hope on everything. I'll tag you in everything. And thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing things. You're so smart.
Thanks for having
You're
me.
so wise.
Thank you.
Give Mimi a hug and a kiss for me.
I'm a little bit wise and a little bit stupid, and that's how I like it.
Thank you.